Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a deeply reflective inward journey, one that asks us to step back and really look at the mechanics of our own minds. If you're a focused learner trying to make sense of that timeless battle between your pure inner self and all the chaotic noise of everyday life, well, you're in the exact right place. We're going to explore some profound concepts regarding the mind, the soul, and those tricky illusions that constantly try to pull us off course. It's all drawn directly from a fascinating philosophical text on aligning the mind and the Atma. So let's dive in to how we can stop being victims of our own wandering thoughts and actually start taking back control.
To kick things off, we need to look at a truly profound existential question. It's one that might actually make you pause and reevaluate things. Here it is. If our physical body commits a wrong action, why is it that our soul, our Atma, has to bear the burden of that karma? Just ponder that for a second. If the soul is supposedly entirely pure, why does it get dragged into the mess of our daily mistakes? It's a huge paradox, and it really sets the stage for our entire investigation today.
To figure that out, we have to dig a little deeper and identify the actual operator behind the machine. What exactly is the relationship between your Atma, your deepest soul, and the Jiv, which is the living entity or the mind that resides in your body? Think about it. Who or what is actually giving the orders? What's telling your eyes to focus on certain things, your ears to listen to gossip, or your mind to spin up negativity? Something inside us is actively accumulating all this good and bad karma, and we need to pin down exactly what that force is. Which brings us to the environment we all operate in every single day, the world of Maya. Now, Maya is an illusion, but it's not a passive one. It is a highly active, aggressive illusion. It's constantly pushing us toward the wrong path. And how does it do that? Well, by feeding our ego, by sparking jealousy, and by dropping in that undeniable temptation to speak falsely about other people. It basically warps our perception. Maya ensures we accumulate bad karma by continuously yanking our focus toward negativity. It is, without a doubt, the ultimate distraction technique. To make sense of how the pure soul interacts with our very messy actions, the source uses an absolutely incredible metaphor. Picture your Atma as a giant, pure, white movie theater screen. It is entirely unaffected by whatever is being projected onto it. It literally just provides the light and the space. Now, the movie playing on that screen with all its wild drama, the good scenes, the terrifying scenes, the chaos, that is the Jiv, your mind. People can project a terribly dark movie or a beautifully inspiring one, but the screen itself, it doesn't change one bit. It just facilitates the experience. So the crucial takeaway here is understanding how this movie actually operates. The movie, the Jiv, or the mind, which is sometimes referred to by the Sanskrit term man, needs fuel to keep running. And according to the text, this mental projector is powered by just two things. First, our thoughts, and second, our breath, known as shwas. That's the whole shebang. Your mind's chaotic movie only keeps playing because you're feeding it with your breathing and your thinking. If you want to change the movie, or even just pause the drama, you have to target those two specific power sources. And we see this dynamic play out constantly, because honestly, the mind is incredibly sneaky. It actively fights your good intentions so it can keep its movie running exactly how it wants. Let's say you decide, tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up early and go for a walk. Great plan, right? But your mind immediately recognizes this as a threat. It absolutely fears losing control. So what happens? The alarm goes off, and your mind injects you with a massive dose of laziness. It uses Maya to weave all these false narratives. Oh, it's too cold, you need more sleep, just to make your plan fail and maintain its grip on you. So why does the mind fight so hard against something as simple as a morning walk? Well, the text hits us with this really powerful quote. The bad things are easy, so the Jiv tries to tend to that. It is the path of least resistance. Doing good things ultimately brings happiness, sure, but it requires effort. It requires discipline. Bad things, though, they might bring pain down the line, but in the moment, they are so incredibly easy. The mind naturally gravitates toward the easy route, and that's exactly why it sabotages your efforts to grow. This sabotage becomes glaringly obvious the very second you try to quiet your mind. The source paints a really vivid picture of what happens when you first sit down to meditate. You close your eyes, take a breath, and bam, the mind furiously starts generating distractions. Suddenly you're thinking about distant mountains, then it's pulling up urgent office matters out of thin air. Next, you're stressing over the kids' studies or worrying about your parents' health. It does absolutely everything in its power to keep that movie playing so you don't realize there's just a blank screen behind it.
Okay, so how do we actually pull the plug on this projector? The text outlines a highly practical, step-by-step inward practice to essentially suffocate the Jeeves movie. Step 1, deliberately remove the bad thoughts and focus entirely on your breath. Because remember, breath is one of the mind's two fuels. Step 2, simply notice when the mind inevitably wanders off to those mountains or office worries. Step 3 is the critical intercept. You ask yourself inwardly, who is thinking this? Who is the one actually worried right now? And step 4, you just watch as that inner thief gets spooked and runs away.
The beauty of this is that you could apply it way outside of meditation, too. The text instructs us to use these probing rhetorical questions in our normal daily lives. The very moment you feel wronged by someone, or you feel that sudden flash of anger or jealousy rising up inside you, pause. Turn the spotlight directly inward and ask, who is getting jealous right now? Who is getting mad? Don't look at the person who wronged you. Look right at the entity inside you that's generating the reaction. And this leads to such a profound realization. When you actually turn inward, when you actively search for the person who is worried or the person who's mad, no one comes out. Literally, no one is there. Confronting the actual source of the anxiety causes the entity to completely vanish into thin air. The moment you shine a light on it, the illusion just shatters. The text puts it so beautifully. That thief is nothing but your mind. The antagonist of your life, that inner thief stealing your peace, disrupting your meditation, and making you hit snooze on your morning walk, it's just your unchecked mind. It's a coward that only knows how to operate in the dark. The second you ask it to step up and identify itself, it runs away from the confrontation. You are quite literally just dealing with a runaway thought process.
To truly master this, the practice boils down to two main pillars of mind control. The first pillar is exactly what we just covered, inward questioning. You're essentially hunting the thief whenever it starts acting up. The second pillar is devotional chanting. And the key detail to remember here is that the chanting evolves. At first, your mind is bouncing everywhere, but as you sit with full devotion, the chanting naturally shifts from being words spoken by your mouth to a silent rhythm synchronized with your schwas, your breath. You're taking control of the very fuel the mind runs on.
So, what is the ultimate payoff for all this hard work? The text promises a deeply peaceful outcome. Once you control and align your mind, it becomes aligned with the Atma, which the source essentially equates with God. When this alignment happens, your perception becomes so subtle. Instead of your good intentions fading away after a day or two, good things actually start to stick with you permanently. You basically become the bouncer of your own brain, gaining the power to look at bad thoughts like jealousy and anger and to say, no, you're not allowed in here. Go away. Of course, it takes practice, but the ability to reject that negativity right at the door is entirely within your reach. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a deeply personal final thought based on everything we've uncovered today. Take a breath, look past whatever movie is currently playing in your head, and just ask yourself, who is watching the screen of your mind right now? Keep asking that question and watch the thief run. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I really hope this sparks your own inward investigation.